Welcome to episode 3 of the show that has no name. We are joined by guest Kathy Ald. Right.
Give her a round of applause.
She survived episode 3 of Game of Thrones. What did they end up naming the episode?
I think just the
Long Night. The Long Night.
The Long
Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was calling it the Battle for Winterfell, but the Long Night. So we all survived the Long Night. Wasn't as difficult as we thought it was going to be. But we definitely shared so many different types of emotions.
Not as many character deaths, and by character deaths I mean like the well-known characters that we've all come to love. I was quite surprised about how there wasn't that many.
No. But looking back, I think it all kind of makes sense, because we did want to get the Night King out of the way. And just kind of take it back to its roots. If that makes sense.
I guess, like, the more I've talked about it, the more I'm with you on that. But at the same time, I feel like eliminating that big of a bad at this point. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with the next couple episodes. Unless they're going to... Right now, it seems like there's, like, two sides, right? So you've got the Dany side and you've got the Cersei side. But I think it's going to split into 3 sides.
She has a theory, and I want to get into that.
I know.
So the reason she's here is because we... noticed she was a huge Game of Thrones fan because she made this pool that she has. She has pretty much the same thing we have on our sheets: who's dead or who's gonna live, who's not, who's gonna get.
We all are joining us with that.
She has that, but she also has some other questions that have been answered and some that are to be answered. So if you could just go through the pool that you made.
Sure. So, there's like 40 characters. It's out of control.
A lot.
Yes. The first is who is the first person to die, either killed or naturally, in season 8, and it had to be someone that you know and that was listed in the 40 people.
So you can write down all the Dothraki army.
Or a nameless unknown extra.
Yeah.
Someone did answer that, so I probably.
Oh, really?
Really? Oh.
And I said no, I'm not giving you credit. It's outside the spirit of the question. But so that was Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah. And it happened later. It surprises me that she was the first one to go, because that happened towards the end of the episode, I feel like. Middle towards the end.
I called it ahead of time. I was like, definitely a half hour into the battle before anybody named dies.
I think the over-under was 9:15.
What about
Really?
Yeah.
The kid?
No, Dwarf Ed. Is that his name?
He was the first
He was
wasn't
the
he?
first one to die.
That's
Yeah.
true, but he wasn't on my group of people because for some reason I was like, I do not want him on here. I don't know why.
I didn't even remember his
Nobody
name.
asked for him either.
But...
I know exactly. The next question is Cersei actually pregnant?
Still to be answered. Jamie
I
thinks
don't think so.
I
don't think so.
Why would she
either.
lie about it? Why would she lie about it?
Because it's her only way of controlling her brothers.
I
Is
saw
the
some.
familial sympathy maybe? Is Daenerys pregnant? And there's the rules on this question are like, okay, you mean as of the beginning of the season, or does she get pregnant throughout the whole season? I think that the general is like,
yes.
does she get
Really?
pregnant?
Because I think there's no time to have. Because if you have her pregnant, you have to have a payoff. The baby has to be born. And is a baby? Are we getting 9 months?
I'm going to
In
point
the
out
next,
that
what,
one
3 more
episode in
episodes?
season 7. Every time when someone tells me something's impossible, I'll be
Yeah.
like, that one episode in season 7 where time just went by in 20 minutes.
So the next question, if he is killed, how does the Night King die? This was an open-ended question, and only one person got it right on in the pool that Amber's in.
Oh.
But that was because it was just specifically Valyrian steel. Everybody else was way more specific.
Oh.
A lot of people said dragonglass.
But the person didn't say Arya, right?
No, because nobody saw... Oh, no, I skipped a question. Who kills the Night King if he is killed?
A lot of people were upset that Jon Snow didn't do it. Because they're like, they build him up as a prince that was promised.
That's what I heard a lot of people are mad about regarding that.
Like, oh, what do we go through all this with Jon Snow for?
And all that
Well,
stuff.
because if the prophecy is he leads them out of darkness,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that
I
he has
agree.
to be the one to do it. And he is
Yeah.
the one that is like collected all the he's brought Dany into the fold, and so yeah, if he's killed, how does he die? No, one person got that right, but nobody got.
So
the
someone
who.
said Valyrian steel.
Someone said Valyrian steel, and then I've got people kind of like arguing for their answers.
Yeah.
If she is killed, who kills Cersei?
Do we have
I say
opinions still?
Jaime.
Still Jamie? Now that he lived, I think it's Jamie.
Yeah.
But if he didn't survive, I thought it was going to be Arya.
I feel like
Although, what about
Arya can't
Melisandre?
have 2 kills like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I mean,
Can she
Yeah,
kill
I
both of
don't-
the bosses?
All the
I think
kills.
so. I mean, who knows? Maybe so.
I don't.
I say Jamie just
Yeah.
because of the whole prophecy that the witch gave her, was saying the younger brother.
Well, it's
And then Arya
And I
also
just
got
feel like
the...
it's also, I don't know, poetic in a way.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
I guess it is like, so if it's the little brother, it could be either of them, or it could be literally any little brother.
Any little brother.
Any little brother. I'm like, I really like that's my next. Okay, what do I have to think about? Is what is the course of events that happens there, so that we get Clegane Bowl, so we get the Mountain versus the Hound together, and we've got Jaime Lannister dying in the arms of the woman he loves, who is obviously Brienne.
Is that a prophecy?
He talked about how he wanted to die.
Oh,
so
okay.
Bronn said he wanted to die happy in his home reading his sons a book or something like that.
And we can't say how Tyrion wants to die. We can't say that on camera.
Yeah, that's fine. Different scene anyway.
All right, so this last episode. Okay, so we can start when it opened with the battle. They're stationed, and we see Melisandre. We didn't know it was her. Mm-hmm. Did you think it was her at first?
No.
Who did you think? Because we
thought
thought it was
the dead. Just for
I
some
thought they were
reason
going to send
like one of the White Walkers just coming up for some reason. That's what I thought, and that everyone else was going to like follow right behind.
We thought it was Benjen for some reason. Can't you see? I thought it would be sick if he rolls up and then he's like, "All right, let's go." With his his thing.
It's like you thought I was dead, but I'm back.
Yeah.
How has nobody else made a weapon like that? That's what I don't understand. Just like fire on a ball. Come on.
Yeah.
But it's Melisandre, and she has one of the coolest scenes. She like lights the coolest scene that I've seen in television or in Game of Thrones. Like,
people were complaining that episode was way too dark.
I saw a lot of that this morning,
and I was fine with it.
I was fine
I
with
didn't
it
have an
too.
issue with it at all.
I didn't even think about it.
I
honestly.
never noticed it. Yeah,
I just assumed it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be dark.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It would be...
It's like, to me, it being so dark also kind of created this type of fear.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Like, oh, shoot,
what's going to happen?
see.
Yeah, exactly. No one knows what's going to happen.
It did make the piling on more difficult to envision, unlike in the Battle of the Bastards where you've got like just like piles of people.
Yeah.
But it was harder to kind of appreciate the scale.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I expected it to be dark also.
Yeah,
I thought the utilization of fire was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the Dothraki screamers and just seeing it one by one.
God, that was so.
Like the moment that happened, I was just like, "Oh,
it's over."
Yeah,
God, this is gonna
They
be
just took
difficult.
out.
This is gonna be
They just took out
difficult.
more than a third of the whole army. That one of the most feared land warriors are just gone like that. Awesome shot with them running down with the camera on the side, and then the balls of fire being thrown. That was so cool. But awful battle strategy. You think that's the only thing they could do?
Well, I don't know. Like, what else are you gonna wait for? I don't know. It's either fight it further out or fight it closer in.
I
don't know why
you'd
you'd send all the Dothraki though.
Yeah.
Why send all of them all at once?
Into darkness, you can't see what's there,
exactly.
and you know, even though you can't see, you know that there's so much more there than there are with them. Were you expecting to win that?
Especially not knowing that Melisandre was going to come in and give them some light.
Yeah.
You're like they're going to go into the pitch black.
Right.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
That was the plan originally. And why not send a dragon out there first, just to go light it on fire? I don't know. I mean, you can. That's why I'm thinking maybe that was just for the show.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like
the cool scene.
None of them have been the best strategists. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like it was to give us that sense of like, oh crap.
Yeah, it definitely.
This is.
You can like nitpick like battle strategies. I guess you can nitpick it, but it happened, so you just kind of have to be okay with it. But it's just amazing because they had like the best war generals. You had Davos, Jaime, Brienne. Like, come on, that was Tyrion. That was their idea. Anyway, so that happens out there. The dead start swarming. Like, could they always run that fast?
I thought so. I didn't notice a difference in their speed.
They swarmed the gates. Like, they were like charging. I thought like it took them so long to get there because they always walk like this.
When they went past the wall before, you remember where they were like stuck in the middle of that little ice? They kind of ran fast. Yeah.
Maybe they don't have a lot of stamina.
Right.
But they're like, we're marching south.
Moment.
We're gonna march.
We're going all in.
Nice and slow.
Exactly.
But did you? I was so fearful. Like, I thought everyone was dying when they got to them, and the Unsullied were like trying to keep up. Just literally a wave of them, just like like they're drowning them in their and their dead bodies.
I couldn't figure out how all the named characters were in the front and yet none of them died.
None of them died. No.
Yeah. I guess you couldn't meaningfully show them die,
right.
so that's why, and they had to be in the front.
That'd be such an anticlimactic death. Like, he's dead, he's dead.
You had to see them. You had to know that they were there.
All of last week, I was just like, you know what? They gave Brienne the best closure. She's a knight.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna die, and she lived.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only person I knew was Beric. I was like, Beric Dondarrion's gonna die. Definitely gonna happen.
Theon for me.
Although originally, before the season started, I thought he was gonna die defending Yara.
Oh.
Because, like, to right his wrongs. But I guess this is an entirely
yeah.
different
Right.
righting of wrongs.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you did brought you to where you are now. Home.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. I was actually practicing my brain because he said on a night show that the reason he has such a good stare is because he can't see.
Yeah.
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 Melisandre also lit the torches.
That's right.
I was really thinking it wasn't going to happen because it just
That was
she kept repeating
that
and
was
repeating, and it was so tense, and you could see that she was nervous.
Yeah.
Like looking back and forth.
I thought she was gonna die when she went out there to do that. I was
I did
hoping that
too.
she was gonna light it on fire and then she herself would be lit on fire. That would have been a cool death, but they opted for the walk out into the midst.
That would have
of-
been ironic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
With Shireen. And
Yeah,
how she
it
died.
would have.
I did call it though, because they were like, or because I guess they counted on Danny or the dragons lighting
Yeah.
it up.
Right.
And they're like, oh, she
And they
can't
couldn't
see it. And I
see
was like,
it.
get Melisandre.
Yeah.
And then she showed up. I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
I got it.
And the Unsullied, despite the horror and Unsullied are so freaking battle tested. They just line up and form like a walkway for her. That was so cool.
Well, what about also Melisandre talking about Arya's kills? Saying like, I've seen brown eyes, green eyes, and then blue
Blue
eyes.
eyes.
When she said blue eyes, I just thought like, oh, she's going to kill some whites
Yeah.
today, you know?
Well, it
I'm
was a
surprised more people didn't catch up on that, and I didn't either.
I didn't think that she was specifically talking about the Night King.
Right.
I didn't either, but she it was a callback to when they first met.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was exactly what she said to her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
and
definitely
then
didn't
at
pick up
the
on
time-
it
At
then.
that time, I didn't even pick up on
Yeah,
it.
at that time I thought, oh, they're just talking about people with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Right,
you know?
exactly. You didn't
So,
think anything more of
Yeah,
it.
I thought that was cool though.
That was,
Bringing
that
that
was
back up.
really
And I
cool.
totally forgot about her.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because there's so many things that you're tracking in your head, I totally forgot
Right.
about her. And then she came in and I was like,
Yeah, it was sweet.
I'm okay with this. This isn't what I thought would happen, but it's good.
I'll admit, was anybody disappointed by the crypts a little bit?
Like, I wanted to see
You
Lyanna
want to
bust
see
out of her
more?
statue.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of the memorable Starks in
Yeah.
a way, if they were able to without a head, for instance.
Ned to come
Headless
out.
Ned. Just
Yeah,
just
headless
come-
Ned. I don't know. I thought that there would be more people, dead people, just coming out
Right.
of the crypts and attacking, but it didn't really seem
It didn't.
like
It was
there were
very
that many.
anticlimactic. too.
Yeah.
And Tyrion acted like Tyrion fought at the Battle of Blackwater.
Mm-hmm.
He was like him and Sansa, and Sansa had a dagger that Arya gave her. I was expecting them to do something, except just like cower, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little.
that was
disappointing
strange.
with
Like
the
they were just
crypts.
letting all their friends and family die out there, just not doing it. That was strange.
You win or you die. So
Exactly. I mean, do you blame them? I would have
Yeah.
done the same thing.
I love the exchange that they had when she came down finally, and he was already there, and no words spoken. She just looked at him, and then he takes a swig of wine.
Yep. I laughed at
he's
that
like,
part.
oh boy.
I
This is-
laughed at
this is
that part.
happening.
Thank you guys for letting me
Anything
sit in on
else?
your discussion.
Oh, you gotta
Gotta
go.
go do the news.
Bye.
See you, Anthony.
See you guys later.
If you were writing this yourself, would you have made this the last battle, or would you still make Cersei in the fight for the throne the last battle? Like, do you think this was so important that it happened too early and too soon, and like he was killed too quick?
Personally, it did feel a little anticlimactic in a way.
Yeah. Like so many
Because,
seasons are
I
building
mean,
up.
Yeah, the argument could be, it is called Game of Thrones, and, everybody always talks about the Iron Throne from the very beginning, but also people talk about the White Walkers from the very beginning. Winter is coming, and it just, to me, it ending, that arc ending halfway through the season, it just seemed too sudden, I guess. Because to me, the Night King, you know, he enveloped this idea of like impossible to defeat, super strong, super powerful. After all, he took down a dragon with a spear. You know, he could raise the dead. And to me, the way it is at the moment, and of course, my feelings can change once we start watching again. But it just seems like Cersei now is like the bigger threat than the Night King, and I don't like that, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, there's more weight against Cersei than the Night King, is how I take it right now.
The more I talk about it, the more okay with it I am, given the amount of story and time that's been spent on the relationships between all of these characters. And you can't really have a relationship with the Night King. It's just like the fear of the Night King. If they'd gone more into the history of the Night King and how he was created and is he a Stark or not, like a lot like the books I'm sure do.
Yes, I'm sure the books are more about that battle.
So that it makes sense, but I do think that it was not anticlimactic. I was, like I said, when Arya jumped in, I was like, okay, I'm alright with this, but
I don't think that's the right word I used.
What?
Anticlimactic.
It was like too.
It just seemed too easy. Sudden. Yeah, too easy in a way.
Although I guess it took 2 tries, right?
That's
Dragonfire didn't work, and you saw a smile out of the Night King, which was a treat.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know if I like that. That was really spooky.
Which is better, Brienne's smile or the Night King's smile?
That's true. 2 characters we've never seen smile until this season.
Exactly. But it felt like maybe a little bit too easy, and
that's where I was.
You say that, and I agree that had to be second to the throne, I think, because the whole show is about politics and relationships and strategy on the human level. Like, you can't, it's just evil. Like, there's no depth to the character. I'm interested to see, does Bran say this next episode, they'll be back? Like,
I really hope,
build the wall again.
I really hope that he'll go into more detail in terms of his role in the Night King. And
where was he for this whole time?
During the warging,
Yeah, he was warged for too long.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
And I was just like, he can't just be in those ravens.
Because, like, he warged into it, and we saw he was in ravens.
I know, like, the moment has passed.
Yeah.
You're good. We know where the Night King is. You can snap out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe he was warging into a raven that was just tracking the Night King's move. Maybe that's what he's doing. Because when the Night King walked in, that's when he came back. I don't know. I hope they do explain where he was that whole time, because they only showed one scene with the ravens.
Right.
And they did what they were doing, like seeing where he was.
I was waiting for another Hodor moment.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my god, wake up, Bran. Wake up.
Just because I'm a little disappointed with the fact that Night King's dead. I'm not disappointed with how he died.
No, I like how he died.
Yeah.
I just wanted a little more. I wanted a sword battle with Jon Snow. I think when Jon was running up towards him, instead of the Night King raising the dead, just one battle, and then, because the Night King, maybe he's cocky, because he is, I think. He's smiling after getting burned.
No, continue, sorry.
One battle with the Night
like
King.
A beach vacation.
One battle with the Night King. Maybe Jon gets put on his back and the Night King's like with a sword over him, and then Ghost comes and sacrifices himself to save Jon. I'm just writing my own episode.
Do you think Ghost died?
No.
I don't think so.
Only people can die in Game of Thrones if we see it.
I do want to talk about Theon's death. Only because I never realized how much I liked Theon until he saved Sansa. And then it became more apparent how much I liked him in this season. His death brought tears to my eyes personally, only because what Bran did for him. Because it was like, on this sheet I said, Theon's gonna die risking himself to save Bran, and the reason why is because of how he betrayed him. And, you know, he lived with so much regret with the fact that he betrayed the only family he really had, the Starks. And I feel like he's been trying to get peace back in his life, peace back in his mind and his heart and whatnot. And, you know, he did a great job defending Bran. And the moment that the Night King was there, he was the person in between Bran and the Night King. And Bran just stopped him and was just like, Theon, you're a good man. Thank you. And I just had tears in my eyes for that, because it was just like, Bran gave him his sense of redemption. He gave him that peace that he's been fighting years for, seasons for. And so when he ended up risking his life, he did so with no regrets at that point, knowing that he was going to die. And it was just, I don't know. I really loved that moment.
Do you think it's like, it kind of seems like a superhero movie-ish, and I don't like that. I mean, it's hard to judge now because we have a lot more episodes to go. People could end up dying.
Yeah.
But just to have all of our favorite heroes survive a battle that's from Game of Thrones, like they've built up our expectations to suffer, and we didn't.
So in other battles, have the characters that you've really cared about died? And I'm sure that they have, and I'm just not thinking of it right now.
I mean, no. Battle of Blackwater, because I thought about this too. Battle of Blackwater, no. Battle of the Bastards, no.
The main people that died are like the main characters. Their demise.
I just felt like this was different.
They're one-off moments.
I felt like this was a different battle. Like you're battling the Night King that's been built up this whole season. Give me someone like I want to cry more.
So Barrack was brought back many times.
I get it now. That's why he was brought back.
Well, what's funny is that when we were watching, I was watching with a couple other people, and they're like, "That's what they brought him back for. He's got to come back again, saving Arya from some whites." And I was like, "Hey,
there's a reason.
Don't judge.
There's a reason." And then
I thought it was so that he was going to sacrifice himself for the Hound because the Hound is so scared of fire. But they're both so he's so protected with Arya, and then
I just want to say, we were talking about how the Hound is scared of fire, and he was frozen from all the fire that was going on around. But then he noticed that Arya needed help, and he snapped out of it. I was just
so good.
Yes, thank you.
So good.
I love their bond, their little unspoken bond.
Yeah, literally.
He's grown a lot as a character. They don't really talk about him as a redemption story as much as like Jaime.
Jorah dying, I honestly wasn't quite surprised with how he died.
And he died perfect.
Exactly
he
how
died
he
protecting
wanted to.
Dany.
I did think that he was going to make it because, he came back during, after the Dothraki all disappeared. He came back. He was stabbed multiple times, and he was still fighting. And I thought he was going to make it, but he didn't. But he died for the woman he loved.
So good. There are like nitpicks you can make with the show, but they did really good in other moments.
It just, the volume was surprising, but the other thing is, if I look at the other characters that they could have killed, I don't know that they could have killed many of them, like Tormund.
Yeah, and
maybe.
Yeah, but we'll only know like when we see where their story goes. Like if some of these stories fall flat, then God, please have killed them.
Exactly.
Like if we don't see some of these characters again, or they just don't have a very interesting storyline, then oh come on, you had a chance to wrap it up the perfect way. Like, Sam's like getting attacked by whites. He's fighting them off the best he can, and Jon looks at him, and then you see Jon's face, and then he just keeps going. That's how like important.
That part.
I don't remember that either.
Well, once you rewatch it, you'll see it.
Okay.
But that's like when you know, oh my God, Jon is really on a mission to like save Bran. And I wish he made it to that scene. I wish he made it to that room. I just wish he had a battle with someone, like a White Walker. None of the White Walkers
He tried with
battle.
the Night King, but the Night King decided to be a little petty and was
like,
just like, let me raise up these guys.
Oh, you want me to do this? You saw it last time.
Yeah, he did.
These are all your people now.
Someone said that it would have been sick if the Dothraki, when they went out and disappeared, that they came charging back. Can you imagine if they come charging back with like their weapons?
That would have been crazy.
Whew. Okay,
so when it comes to now fighting for the throne, Daenerys back on her mission to reclaim the Iron Throne. I'm ignoring Jon for a second here. What army does she have now?
So Dany lost all the Dothraki. She has probably a 10th left of the Unsullied. They might show us more. They might do this thing where, oh, these guys lived, you just didn't see them because there were so many.
And Winterfell's so big.
Winterfell's so big. But besides the main characters,
it's like
nothing on this side of the...
I think she has to call the Second Sons back for Marine. So we might get to see Dario Naharis.
Well, that's true. That's true. I forgot that they're still there.
And like all the ladies want that. So maybe they'll bring him back. And I don't know how many the Second Sons are, because you really only ever see like the three main guys and then Dario Naharis. But maybe that can help.
They left some Unsullied out there too, right? Or did they?
I think he just left the ruling of Marine to like the overseeing it into a democracy to the Second Sons.
Just thinking that I don't see who else she could call on.
Yeah, because part of her edge too was the Dothraki screamers.
Prediction for next episode?
More dialogue, lots of dialogue.
I think it'll be like a third and 2/3, or maybe half and half. But I think they've got to like fall back to Dragonstone because Winterfell is nowhere to meet right now.
And you can't stay there in the winter. Like it's like.
Right.
I do wonder like what brings winter if there's no more Night King.
Yeah.
Is it just summer again? Or is
I think winter comes as it does just as seasons, but I think the winter that they brought was that storm that came in.
Yeah.
With all
Winter
the
is over.
snow. See, it's snowing here now.
Is it?
I'm gonna add it.
Oh, okay. So I think they fall back to Dragonstone, and that's when Jon and Dany have to figure out this whole like, okay, so you're my auntie deal.
Yeah, they will
and
have
what
to
does that mean?
Are they gonna?
And maybe that's where there's a split
I
in
feel-
allegiances because do those
Yeah.
alliances mean anything anymore? We figure that out.
Yeah,
and then
and
you go to Cersei.
Sansa, I feel like, is definitely going to talk to Jon more about the North.
We should leave everyone with this. Did you see this from
Arya really is
Sansa?
my bitch. Yes, you are, bitch.
That's awesome.
Can you imagine being Arya, like the actress Macy Williams, or however to say her first name, watching at a watch party with friends and family that she hadn't told
And she
anyone,
can't tell them.
and she's just sitting there the whole time,
just
waiting, and then
wait
everyone's
for
like, what?
Yeah, I thought she was toast when he grabbed her by the neck.
Yeah, I thought
And
that was.
then I've
he was
rewatched
about
that
to go.
scene over and over because the internet, and just how I honestly missed her actually dropping it
That was so
the first time around.
good.
Particularly the Night King's eyes just shift to it and then watch it fall. Like when it's falling, you could see him on the top, just kind of like going.
Yeah.
And
And
like,
I
was
think that was
good.
the trick she did to Brienne too. That's how she took. That's how
That's
she.
yeah.
true.
She practiced it on.
That's true.
My sense is, emotionally, I was pleased in the moment. Like my short-term pleasure of the episode was awesome. I was like cheering the whole time. I was like on the edge of my seat. I just kept standing up. But I think long-term, depending on what the next episodes turn out to be, I might not like it as much. But just the production value, the acting, and the different moments that they had in that episode is hard to beat, like in any episode. Like I tweeted out after I was on a high, but I tweeted out best episode ever in the best show on the history of television. But I was riding a high.
I don't want to oversell this.
Yeah.
But
I was riding a high, but maybe it depends. I think it depends how the rest of the series ends, how I like this episode.
I jokingly tweeted, so this is what it's like to cheer at sporting events.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I'm not really a sports person, but I went to a watch party and everybody just was just like, yeah.
Okay, let's drop this tweet. Alright. Watch That's everyone's reaction.
I would
Pretty
totally
much.
believe it though.
It's everyone's reaction. Like, oh my god. Because my whole time I was like, who's gonna kill him?
I think I saw something similar to that using the same cheering and whatnot, and I actually thought it was at a local bar.
Well,
anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Oh,
gonna say
yes,
I was
yes.
happy with it. I loved the dragon fighting. I think a lot of people didn't like it.
Can I have one suggestion?
Yeah.
Why was there no... I feel like the whole dragon fight was the ice dragon shooting the blue flames. I never saw the other dragons shoot back at it. Did you? Plus, I wanted an epic, like...
But I liked it, like the fighting in the moonlight, even if it was
That
a
was
little bit hard to
awesome.
follow. I, thought
I
that
saw...
was cool.
I think... I don't know if we ever seen stars before in the show.
Yeah.
But when they went up and you saw the stars, I was like, oh my god, I've never seen stars.
Well,
So
it's
they're in the
also-
universe. They're in an actual universe.
It's also kind of a cool mental break, like a little
Yeah.
moment, like, oh
It's-
wow, so pretty, and then
Yeah.
it's like now dive back to
Yes.
chaos.
And so was Arya's, like, library scene. I love that scene. That was like Walking
I
Dead.
felt like that helped establish her being able to sneak.
Yes, because she
Because
disappeared
A
real
lot
quick.
of people, from what I've seen on Reddit and whatnot, they're all some people were complaining like, oh, so the Night King can't hear her, but they can hear blood drops, and
That's what she's trained her
Yeah,
whole life
exactly.
for.
And another thing too, with regards to the dark, she was blind for a little bit, so she was able to train in the darkness essentially.
Yes.
I didn't think about that.
So there you go. She's a trained assassin.
We're really bad at saying goodbye on this show.
Yeah, we just love talking about Game of Thrones. We can just go on forever. This is gonna be a long video this time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can talk about it forever. I liked it, but I'm wondering what they're gonna do with 3 whole episodes, because the question is, do you like end the main conflict at the end of episode 5,
right?
or in the first half of 6? Because clearly you need to do some like wrap up. It's not like someone kills Cersei.
But you also need a cliffhanger.
Cutting credits. Yeah.
Maybe episode 5 is gonna be the battle for the throne between Daenerys and Cersei.
I think it has to be. I don't think they have enough time in the last one.
Yeah, I feel like this next episode is going to be dialogue, kind of figuring out the Jon and Dany situation, figuring out the North and whether or not they want Sansa's like, you know what, yes, you're my queen, and then they're going to figure out their resources, and then Cersei's going to talk maybe more about her elephants. I don't know, just kidding.
I'm most interested in what army does she have to take on. I think that's what I'm most interested in. That and the dynamic between Jon and Dany. Is it resolved? How does that come through?